Good afternoon, everybody. It's Ken Jackson and Dan Pearson from the Osceola News-Gazette, and thank you for joining us for another edition of First and 10 with Dan and Ken, breaking down the high school football action from last week and previewing what's going on this week. And Dan, Friday, if your name wasn't Osceola, you had a pretty rough week out there on the gridiron.
Yeah, other than Harmony winning that midweek game against Mount Dora, it was a rough weekend for all county teams.
Right, and it was the first district week for those who are playing in a district. So, Osceola off to a good start, good foot, 40-14 win over Olympia. And Dan, I'm gonna tell you, I've seen a lot of football and I've seen a lot of things, but something I've never seen is one kid have 3 interceptions in one quarter. Bo Masco, defensive back for Osceola, pulled it off for Osceola at a time when they needed it because that game was scoreless. In the second quarter, Osceola turned the ball over twice in the first quarter, and that was a lift they needed. They got 21 points in 5 minutes, and they were off and running.
Bo has really some terrific ball skills, and the coaches say that they really believe he will be a Division I prospect next year. So, really not all that surprised. I've seen him now for a couple of years, and he just seems to get better and better every game.
Yeah, Coach Pinella said, look, he worked so hard all week, and what you saw was the fruit of that labor. But yeah, outside of that, St. Cloud, Gateway, Toho, they all took tough losses in district, and then Poinciana dropped 12-0 to Lake Region, missing a ton of starters.
Right, Randy Beacon told me that they played without 9 starters. I said it was for a variety of reasons. He said it was kind of flukish. They did have a couple kids hurt. They had a couple kids that were in COVID tracing, and they had a player who missed the game for a wedding. So it's one of those things where...
If it wasn't one thing, it was another. Or another.
Randy did say that he thought
we're good. Dip.
Randy said that he did feel his defense played well enough to win that game, and he felt if they could have generated any offense at all, that was definitely a winnable game.
It seems like if it's a common theme around here. If you're not able to generate the offense, it's St. Cloud's had a hard time, Poinciana's had a hard time, Toho's had a hard time just generating offense to get these wins.
And also Liberty, so really you have 4 county teams that have had trouble putting points on the board.
Liberty, unfortunately, has had some just getting on the field. I know they had another contact tracing game lost against Melbourne Central Catholic last week, but they've filled their schedule and they've got some games. So let's look at this week. First of all, Friday, our only in-county game is going to be Gateway against Harmony. We mentioned the Harmony's win on Wednesday. Gateway dropped the decision to O'Galley 35-6 on Friday. So, the key is going to be how well Gateway can slow down Harmony's running attack.
And really, that's what Don Simon said he's going to do in that game is we're going to try to control the clock, pound out first downs on the ground. It's been a formula that's worked very well for him in the last couple of years. And really the question is Gateway going to be able to come up with enough defensively to either create some turnovers, which Harmony did have a few of those last week, or at least slow down that run game. That's
what Marlon Roberts over at Gateway was saying is I'm asking my kids to stop the unstoppable. Tyler Emons has got I know he's had 2 200-yard games at this point.
He's had 2 200-yard games. So he's spent over 100 in every game he's played,
he's on
really just
on pace of putting the comma in his tough rushing yards this year.
Really a terrific athlete, and what really makes the running game a little bit dangerous is Cooper Richards is a pretty good runner too.
And bring him out.
All of a sudden, they run this kind of like a draw play where they hand it off to him when he's in the fullback position, and if you don't stop him right at the line, he can really
finds a hole. Exactly. So that's the game in town this week. Osceola heading down to this is not a district week. Osceola, very interesting week. They're going to head down to Bradenton Manatee, who's 0-3 under Jacquez Green, but they're going to head down there Friday, and then 3 days later they're going to host Osceola. Their first home game will be on September 27th.
Yeah, and then they're going to turn around 5 days later or 4 nights later and play another game. So 3 games in 8 days. That's really a tough thing to do. And one of the games that I am really interested in is this Manatee game, because even though they are 0-3, 2 of those games that came to Palmetto and Lakeland, which terrific programs, And then the other part about Manatee is if you look at their history, 12 years in a row in the playoffs. And out of those 12
Handful
years,
of state
5,
titles,
6
yeah.
years, they made deep runs and they won a couple state titles.
Gotcha. Some other games around the county. Point Siena is going to host Tenorock. Hopefully they get those starters back. Tenorock presents an opportunity for them to pick up a win.
They do, and Tenorock is an actually improved team from last year. But by the same token, if Coach Beacon gets those players back to talk about it, they do generate a little bit of offense. Said it's definitely a winnable game, and he goes, frankly, we need a win at this point.
Gotcha. Team that could probably use a win is going to be kind of getting up off of the canvas. Celebration after. Now, on paper, the lopsided loss they took to Dr. Phillips looks normal, but in what Celebration accomplished in their first couple weeks is kind of out of character, but they're going to a chance to kind of get things back rolling again against Mulberry.
They will, and one of the things about that 49-0 loss last week is that early in the game they did move the ball fairly well, and again, Dr. Phillips was one of those deceptive 1 and 2 teams because they had lost to some powers, and they're very, very young, but man, do they have some athletes on that team.
Well,
and by the time they roll around to Osceola, it's going to be a heck of a ball game.
Dr. Phillips has athletes. In other news, water found to be wet, sun to rise in the east. So like I said, we'll see if Celebration get back on track down at Mulberry. Liberty, they're going to play. I'll knock on wood here. They're hosting Lake Howell.
They are, and Coach Monroe said, I don't know a whole bunch about Lake Howell. They're a Osceola County team. Obviously, we don't play them a lot. He goes, I saw on film they look like they're well coached, have some athletes. Was pretty non-committal on how he thought his team would stack up against them. It's going to be a wait and see.
Yeah, they haven't played. They played once in the last 3 weeks, so health should not be an issue there. A common bond with them is that Lake Howell in the preseason they knocked off Tohopa-Caliga 35-0, and the reason we're bringing this to you on Thursday is Tohopa-Caliga actually plays tonight. They're going to get Haggerty up from Oviedo. They're probably well rested. They had their game against Timber Creek washed out this past week.
They did, and really, again, it's just really going to be a situation of wait and see almost because of all these interruptions we've been having and missed games because of COVID or being washed out because of lightning and everything else. A lot of these teams really don't even know what they have yet, even though we are week 4 into the season.
Yeah, we just haven't had any routine stuff. Week to week hasn't looked similar.
Well, even then, Coach Monroe down in Liberty said between something called heat dew point index or something.
What? Yes.
What dew index or whatever? And just said, half the time, even when we can practice, it's inside in the gym because we're not allowed to go out.
Oh yeah, they're playing a heck of a lot of arena football down there. In fact, I told them what they do is we'll send the volleyball team outside. They can play beach volleyball, and then the rest of the teams can just play. They can play arena football indoors. So like I said, Tohopa-Caliga tonight, 7:00 at Austin Tyndall. It's right down the road from the school. And so that sets it for this week. I am hoping, again, we're going to knock on some wood here, some better weather. I understand there's a cold front moving through tonight. It should at least dry things out because that's, when you say a cold front, I chuckle, and then when you say because it's the start of the fall, I chuckle again. So, but hopefully, we're gonna see some better weather. We're gonna see some better football. We're just gonna see some football. So get everybody get to play.
Exactly, and with the extra game with St. Cloud and Osceola.
Monday,
we're
by the
have
way.
A lot of games going on in the next couple days.
There you go. Like I said, Lord willing. So let's close with that. Osceola, St. Cloud at Osceola. Osceola's first home game, and like I said, it's going to be last week of September, which is kind of crazy. Monday, 7:00, the 98th edition of the 5th longest rivalry in the state of Florida. So watch out for that. I know Dan's going to be checking that out, and we'll have all the game wrap up from that at AroundOsceola.com and in print on Thursday. So for Dan, I'm Ken. This has been First and 10 with Dan and Ken. Thanks for joining us, and go catch a game on Friday or tonight.